Welcome to Train Lee Installations. Today, I'm reviewing two different decoders for this particular locomotive. This is a LGB 22061 or GE66 based off of the 702 model for its anniversary of 60 years and 6 million kilometers. It was a special release from LGB a few years back, and like the real one, this one's gone through a couple of different variations. It's had some gears upgraded and so on. It's kind of been it's been around for a while, and I've worked on it quite a bit. The owner wanted to upgrade from the LGB decoder to a Zimo decoder. And today I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of the difference between the Zimo and the LGB decoder. The LGB decoder and the sound project more specifically. For the Zimo decoder, I did do quite a bit of modifications to the sound project for updating it. This one will start with the LGB decoder that I have in there installed. So F0, of course, turns on the headlights, which with the way the camera is set, you can't really see. I have it going, this is the front of the locomotive, and I can tell that simply based off of the where the driver is in the locomotive that came with it. To start with, turn on your basic sounds on this one. It is F6, so I'll go ahead and turn those on. And then you have your basic whistle. F2 turns the brakes or brake squeal off, automatic brake squeal off. F3 would raise and lower the pantographs, and unfortunately there is something actually wrong with the pantographs. They don't raise properly, and I didn't bother to work on fixing that, as the customer doesn't use the pantographs on the locomotive. The interesting aspect is it has some different announcements, being an anniversary.
Allegra, liebe Fahrgäste, das Zugteam der Rhätischen Bahn begrüßt Sie im Regio Express nach St. Moritz und wünscht eine angenehme Reise.
Okay, that's the greeting announcement. And then it has the station announcements in sequence based off of one of the railways on the RHB.
Nächster Halt, Rezens.
What's interesting about this is it uses one function key to make the announcements. So you press the function key again.
Nächster Halt, Thusis.
And it plays different station stops.
Nächster Halt, Tiefenkastel. Nächster Halt, Filisur.
There's several of those different station stops. And of course, operating sounds, the pantographs, which again, I'm not quite sure what's wrong with them. I didn't bother working on them. Sound. Then you have what they call ABV off, which is the motion. It's basically what I would reference as shunting mode. And then we have another short whistle, and that is way up on F10. And then I have some different lighting effects for the switching marker lights, which will actually turn on the red lights on the back of it, or whatever happens to be the back side of it. And you have the cab lighting that turns on, and that is based off of I think it's the direction. Yeah, it shifts based off the direction, and it just stays on with movement. Then I have a, let's see, that says it's a blower, which is F13. We have a compressor. Noisy thing. Some, what they call sanding, which probably means they're dumping sand on the rail. And the sand is dumped on the rail to help provide traction when the rail is slippery, it's, you know, icy or whatever reason. And then there's some different announcements.
Bitte einsteigen, bitte Türen schließen. Abfahrt nach St. Moritz.
And then we have the double switch light, which I have set up also in the lighting setups that I've done. And this is letting off air, some rail joints, and then coupling. The basic sounds with the LGB. You know, let me shift my back to my. So we have our basic whistle. And it picks up pretty quick in speed. Now, I would be very tempted to retune if I were working with the LGB decoder, I'd be very tempted to retune the momentums on it, the momentum settings, so that it doesn't quite lurch quite as fast when I start bringing up the speed on it. I'd be also tempted maybe to adjust the speed table a little bit. Okay, we'll take a second here. I'll go ahead and change the decoder out. Now, the neat thing with the Zimo decoder is that it uses Railcom for communication. So my Zimo cab is showing that the decoder is awake and healthy. And I'm going to go ahead and review the different functions and sounds that I've set up. I've changed the order of some of the functions and added a couple of other functions. So instead of F6, we turn on the sound using F8. And you notice that it will sound pretty much the same. It's basically the same locomotive. The sound project was recorded from the actual locomotive. So, I mean, they'll have the same sounds in that point. And then F1 is my whistle. This whistle, I can, I think it works the same way with the LGB whistle, is that as long as it's depressed, it plays. So I can have different lengths of whistles based off of how long I hold the key down. F0, of course, turns on the basic lights, as well as the cab light based off of the direction. Only now, when I start moving the locomotive, the cab light turns off, whereas under the LGB decoder, it does not have that programmability or feature to be able to be programmed into it. The brake squeal off, I left at F2. And then I have F3, which is my shunting key or switching mode. That would turn off the ABV as LGB refers it to. I'll go ahead and turn that off. It also limits the top speed of the locomotive. And I'll go ahead and bring it back. The other thing I do once I stop moving it, because it's pretty loud. The other thing I do is when it's in shunting mode, I turn on all three rear lights and all front, so all the lights are on, illuminated. So that would be the switching mode, basically. And that plays that compressor for a little long. Now, F4, I went ahead and put the station announcements on, or the greeting, and I recorded this directly from LGB's sound decoder.
Allegra, liebe Fahrgäste, das Zugteam der Rätischen Bahn begrüßt Sie im Regio Express nach Trier und wünscht eine angenehme Reise.
Now, using Zimo's scripts, I recorded all of the station stops and put them in his script and loaded them into the new sound project for this decoder, for the Zimo decoder. So again, I use the same function key. And it cycles through the stations. And then let's see, F6 is the conductor whistle. F7 turns on the red switching lights. Oh, correction, I changed that around. F7 turns off the normally Swiss locomotives, if they're operating solo and they aren't switching or connecting cars, they might have they would have the what would be the right rear light on, and that based off of the direction. So whichever way you're facing, it becomes the right rear, and that light is usually on if it's driving solo. And that's what I've done with F7, just to turn off the right rear light. So if it's actually driving with the train. And then F8 is the sounds, driving sounds. F9, I added the corner squeal, as typical with these, and it only plays when the locomotive is in motion. This was originally a Heinz Dappen sound project, and the way he set up the corner squeals originally is that they were just assigned to a function key. You would press the function key on and off. With some of the modern Zimo programming, you can set it up to have different sounds at different speeds using a script, or you can assign it as an automatic sound and set it up so that it doesn't play that sound unless it has movement. And that's what I've done with that one. So F10 is the light mode, and that one turns on the rear red lights. Whichever direction it's going is the red lights. Turn that back on. And then F11 and 12 are two different air pumps. While it's an electric locomotive, it still has air and it uses air brakes. So they'll have, air pumps. And the big thing is that with the LGB decoder that it came with, I could not add digital volume controls. The volume control could be adjusted via, not on this one, sometimes it's adjustable via a knob, but could not be programmed to be adjusted digitally by assigning function keys to it. I mean, yeah, you could program a different volume setting. So F13 increases the volume and F14 decreases the volume. F15 I have set up for the pantographs, even though they don't really work. They try. You might be able to see that. They try to work, but I just haven't bothered to figure out what's going on with them. And then a couple of the other sounds or announcements that were on the same locomotive I had on the LGB decoder. I have on F16, 17, and 18. Here's F16.
Bitte einsteigen.
Here's F17.
Bitte Türen schließen.
And then F18.
Zeitwort auf St. Moritz.
So that is some of the updates to the sound project, and that is just basically an upgrade after having to rebuild one of the trucks and replace its gears again. Thanks for watching. This is Trainly Installs, and I am Christine McNary.